Thanks for staying with us. It's Thursday. We love to discuss family life issues. And today, one of the major trending topics today is about the Nigerian crossdresser Bobrisky, who has been alleged to have gotten away from staying in sentence at the prison, because according to a blogger, Mr. Martin Vincent Ose, popularly known as VeryDarkMan, has alleged that Bobrisky actually had paid 15 million naira to a prison controller to get an apartment next to the prison. That was what the VeryDarkMan had alleged. Also, after the allegation, obviously, the EFCC have instituted investigation on his allegations. Also, the Minister of Interior has also instituted an investigation to the allegation of the fact that Bobrisky was not allowed to complete his sentence in the prisons. Now, there are so many angles to this story, and the reason why we're talking about it is because it raises quite a bit of questions. Issue of corruption in our system, issue of the fact that some people seem to are more sacred than others. We know that this has happened with politicians. I mean, but sometimes when it happens to certain people, we have to think about it twice again. And obviously, there have been so many angles to this story. The other angle, there was a different angle. Please remind me, there was another angle where, yes, Mr. Femi Falana, who's an SAN, according to VDM again, had alleged that there was a situation where he had offered to help him get a pardon, a presidential pardon for that matter, at a cost. Now, these are all allegations. Of course, the lawyer has immediately sent a letter demanding a retraction the next 24 hours, saying that Bobrisky had called out for his son, that's Mr. Folarin, that's probably known as Falls, and asked him for his assistance. And obviously, he helped him and said, listen, the best we can do for you is see what happened. Falls said that he asked him for money, and he has refused to even give him the money. So Falls didn't even confirm if there was any conversation on 10 million naira or not. But the point is, as I said, this situation has raised quite a bit of dust, because now the major agencies are investigating. We are waiting to see what happens. But we'd like to hear Nigerians' thoughts on this. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. This, as I said, is a hot topic everybody's talking about. People are passing around the videos. Nima, let me let you go for it, because you're the lawyer amongst us, and I know you'll be able to set the pace on what's been said and what's going on out there.
Okay, at least as much as I know about it from the VDM episode, thanks to my husband, I usually don't follow them because it can be quite... no, I don't know. I'm not interested in that. They're back and forth. Sometimes they're just playing games amongst themselves, and you'd have wasted time. But my husband was on top of it, saying that, there's allegations that are very damning about our institutions. And that worried me. So I listened in. As much as it is for now, they're still basically allegations, so we'll leave them as allegations. But VeryDarkMan's allegation of, shots, how will I put it, cutting corners in the system should worry us as a nation. And I like the fact that immediately investigations have started within the EFCC, also within the Ministry of Interior, especially in the correctional, what's the proper word? Our custodial and correctional facility, and whoever heads it in Abuja right now. So VeryDarkMan had, for whatever reason, gotten hold of an audio where Bobrisky, the basket mouth Bobrisky...
We don't know if the audio is even forged, because these days AI...
I would rather it's forged, but
so.
I have reasons to believe that it's true.
Okay.
I tilt towards believing the audio. I listened to it, he played it, I listened to it, and I have reasons to tilt towards it. I feel that, there's something we call in Edo, someone in a bad market, that kind of person, because people get helped every day, but they help Bobrisky now, reach a ton, Abi ton, or Hashim ton, everything's scattered, and so everything, she just kept ranting like a bird. In the audio, she allegedly paid for a charge to be reduced within the EFCC. Charge reductions happen every day. As a law student, the first thing I learned was how to draft effective or defective charges, how to take out some charges. So if somebody can come on a plea bargain and they'll say, okay, we'll drop this charge for you as opposed to this. But whether payments are done for it is something I, as a lawyer, have not experienced within the system. So they drop charges every day, nothing new about it. You can be arrested this morning and prosecution, the investigating officer can look at the case, go to their superiors and they'll say, okay, let's drop this and give a warning. Even within the NDLA, all our security agencies can decide this person, for whatever reason, let's not pursue this. If it comes as a returning offender, then they can decide, oh, this person is criminally minded, but not every day they arrest you, you go to, no, that's not how it works. So charges can be dropped every day. But he is now saying, you know, it can also be just a boastful thing. That I paid for my charges to be dropped. You know, it can be it can be exaggerated. Maybe you gave a gratitude package and you say, no, to tell your friends so that he can carry weight. You can say, I pay 10 million, 15 million, just so that we carry weight, so it's possible.
Somebody else's
continue later.
Your thoughts, Miriam, or why you want to jump in?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say the VeryDarkMan didn't make the allegations. What he did was he played the tape. Everybody else has concluded the allegation. He just played the tape for us to hear, and we have all now said, this is what happened. Of course, yes, he said he's worried about the correctional center and the other one, EFCC. Their own role. He did say that, but I think, because I listened to the tape yesterday, and it was this tape that he played that made all that we all concluded these allegations. Because I've also watched a video where they asked him to come in to EFCC and says he's not going because they were arresting him.
He doesn't trust them.
And he doesn't trust them, you know. So what people are saying is, should it be him that should be called in, or should it be...
But YK, online EFCC is not a police... Well, online, what we have to educate Nigerians, online is not a police station. For every situation, you must physically write a statement, officially write to the agency involved. It's not by everybody's video that posts and then that's the agency that's running helter-skelter. There's got to be a formal complaint. There's no formal complaint. They can't move.
So that means they shouldn't investigate.
Well, the agencies have gone ahead to investigate, but there are choices too. But the right thing for Nigerians to do, if you're going to make an allegation, right, you should write a report.
So sometimes you publish.
Yes.
If you have evidences, sometimes you publish before you go.
Okay, so he has published.
So that your evidences are not buried. So what he did is published. There's nothing wrong with what he's done.
But shouldn't he now report officially to the police?
But then, that I do not agree with him saying I will not show. Sure. I think what he should do, now that he's published, is have a team of lawyers ready on standby to ensure that they are doing the right processes, motions before the court to get him out in case of any victimization. But we know how the system works. Fisayo Shoyombo, a legitimate journalist, carried out an underground investigations of our custodial system, then prisons, with mics and video and evidences, and uncovered a very, very strong team of corruption when the Minister for Interior was Aregbesola, and nothing came out of it. And so, you know, that kind of distrust of the system is blatant. This is the time when they should be doing laundry, image laundry, extreme one. Right now, with what he has published, that's what VeryDarkMan has published. Right now, they should carry out investigations with names and scapegoats. People who will be held account of any misdoings under their watch. That's how it should be.
Let me come to you, Mary.
Okay, so, yeah, my thoughts. So, for me, I don't want to, burden myself with the technicalities of who should have spoken, who should have gone to the police, who shouldn't have. But, from the audio that we listened to and the allegations that were made, unfortunately, being fully Nigerian and having lived in this country my whole life, it didn't come as a shock or a surprise to me. Corruption is something that we're dealing with a lot in this country. The accusations or the allegations against EFCC, shockingly, not shockingly and not surprisingly, this is not the first time I've heard of EFCC officials being involved in some corrupt practices like these. So for me, it's just another incident where a light has been shown on something that probably or allegedly is going on within the EFCC and how they are handling some of these matters. And so for me, you know, I would hope that in this particular case, we're able to properly investigate. And I hope that it's an independent body that investigates this case. And now this is not just about dragging Bobrisky or dragging VDM or anything. It's just about the health of our nation in general. Right. You know, we need to know that the people who have been put in place to protect us, you know, from financial fraud and all sorts of things are actually doing their job. And if there are bad eggs within the EFCC, please, we would like for them to be flushed out. For me, I don't care about the banter and the who is saying something against somebody and who is chasing clout. Right. For me, is that Nigeria, if this is true, Nigeria is in big trouble. Yeah. And what are we going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
There are two issues for me. I mean, now the story itself, we've talked about it. But there are two critical things that nobody is talking about that I think is so crucial for us to discuss. First thing is, if indeed what they've alleged EFCC did, the weightiness of a money laundering case. Money laundering in many countries is like is a serious crime. It's not something you push on the counter or you tell somebody I'll drop it. You don't drop money laundering charges like that. Is a huge deal, number one. Number two, a money laundering charge is, in this situation, again, if I'm trying to choose my words very carefully here, because this is, I was going to connect it to what Seun Kuti had said in his video, or suggest, I'm not sure he even said it, but it was suggested that entertainers, for example, live lifestyles and we admire so much. But the truth is that many of them cannot afford the lifestyle they live. And I'll connect that to the fact that the second issue is that according to this video, to this audio, the person in question, the crossdresser, was unable to cough out 15 million from his own account. This is somebody that we see the flamboyance, we see the lifestyle, we see the party, we see the maker, and you're thinking, oh my God, this guy has a lot of money. But then he needs 15. And he couldn't say, okay, let me send it to Mariam, send it to Nima, pay FCC, or whatever. I mean, the point is that the fact that I'm trying to make a point. Yeah. The fact that somebody was unable to have that money shows automatically, first of all, he doesn't have that kind of money. Now, what does that mean? According to linking again to what Seun Kuti has suggested, that many of these celebrities, possibly all these entertainers that we see that are flashy, may be possibly be involved in money laundering possibilities. Now, if there's a money laundering case, if EFCC has said, according to this video, that there's that's a major issue we should be focusing on. Yeah. With all this spraying, and they said that is besides the point. Where is it being laundered from and to? Yeah. That's the real question.
Yeah. Okay, so
sorry, I just wanted to correct you. It's not that he didn't have 15 million in his account.
It couldn't be.
It's because he was under investigation.
The account
was
frozen.
Okay.
According to that's what I heard.
Because according to what I heard, it seems as if he just didn't have the money.
But even then, he didn't pay the 4 million. You know, he had borrowed money and came out. So there are many things I would have,
we're not even sure, yeah.
For this one, I would need to write, because that guy is a complex somebody. So number one is that, yes, it might be a money laundering circuit for some businesses, for anybody. The EFCC should have investigated that, but I do not believe. It's not like I have utmost respect for the EFCC right now, but I do not believe that the EFCC will get a lead on such a thing and drop the charges. The possibility why they will drop the charges for me is that, yes, influencing is a new business. It's not law, it's not engineering, it's not medicine. It's not something that we understand how it works. You know, it's just like picking up a fintech person on the road or a tech. My younger brothers in tech are in money that they, for their age, is too much, according to because what they are earning, they constantly churning out apps and making money or selling it that we should not be able to, they cannot explain for their ages. So, but if a policeman were to see them and their account balance and ask them, what do you do? I'm a tech guy. They will arrest them, this Yahoo. That's what it means. So if you arrest somebody like Okuneye, who is an influencer, and yes, maybe he gets paid 5 million, 10 million, and has 100 million in his account, you want to talk to him. But if at the course of investigation, it is clear that these were payments from influencing, and people pay for influencing. Do you understand? So these were payments from influencing. You will be willing to drop such a charge if the lead to a proper money laundering is not tight.
Okay.
But
So-
the fact,
okay, that's a good point.
for me, the fact that he paid for that dropping of the charge, he allegedly paid, is something that worries me. You know, because people with criminal intent will say, hey, I'm willing to pay. And that should not be allowed. Except, you know, if you don't have a clear substantive evidence out of the money laundering itself, you willingly drop that charge. You should drop it for nothing.
Nothing, exactly.
But you know, I agree with you and you as well. It could mean that there's money laundering happening. It could also mean that he was able to explain where, you know, he's been getting his funds for. But I also know of Nigerians who are intimidated usually, you know, places like this to drop money. So even though maybe there's a clear case showing that there's no money laundering, but you're intimidated and they're saying, well, there's nothing we can do. We've seen it so many times in small cases, like you are driving through a particular road that a sign hasn't been put, and then to let you go, they say, okay, bring something. You know you're not wrong, but you know that the way to live is, you know, I drop
But
something.
no,
So all these are just different scenarios that could have happened. And I guess with investigation, we will find out. But is there money laundering happening among people who we see living a very big lifestyle? And somehow, you know, when you dig just a little bit beyond the surface, you just can't find anything that shows that this is how they're earning their money. We have quite a number of people like that. And it became such a thing that, you know, we used to call it small girl with big God sort of thing. Or if you try to raise your voice or ask questions, they say you're jealous. You know, many times we've seen not
that's
just...
for me,
unexplainable
is
way.
what I want us as Nigerians to focus on, because a lot of young people are drawn in by a lot of opulence we see on social media. And Nima is right. Many of them could actually have that money because people are paying millions for influencing. But the truth is that if is the money they are earning and
proportionate.
is it proportionate to the lifestyle they're living, the houses they're buying, the cars they're driving in. So you have to look at it very well, because
it's a make-believe business for influencing. For someone like Okuneye, even the birthday cake, or they will put the halls, everything. It's a make-believe.
Exactly.
If it's this cup, I want to highlight it, it will look like a tank. As an influencer, I'll make it look like a tank. It must give you pepper them. So that's where he gets in trouble. That's where he is forced. Imagine him being remanded in a male custodial center instead of the female one. But he's in the business of telling people, I'm a female, you know, make believe. Lie it, fake it to you, make it kind of something.
Never make it, just faking it.
But never make it, continue faking it. So that's the business of make believe.
My question again is, if after investigation, is it possible that the controller would tell us that he actually stayed in the prison, going by how he looked when he got out of prison? Because everybody
spoke about how he looked.
He was looking like someone that went to
You see that one? Let me even start from where I believe that story from. So when he went to court, he went with a traveling bag. The picture of that traveling bag, I will find it and send it to the group. As in 3-step traveling bag with the small tooth bag, like he was at the airport. And he came to court like that. Was he going to be bathing and changing clothes? Because I do prisons visit a lot. Was he going to be bathing and changing clothes and rubbing cream in the prison? Because that one confused me. So when this video came out yesterday, I was like,
Makes sense.
it's like I know. It's like I knew from time. Because he
we all saw how
he went in a privileged way. I just felt that one. Then when he came out so fat. He did not involve in any of those prison activities. When you go to prison, for these people to even get a bit of rest, they have to go to the churches and the mosque. And sometimes to get food, they have to join the religious interventions that come weekends. So it's a tough place to be. It's not one place that somebody goes and the head is bigger than the body when he come outside. Sorry for my, you know, the way he came out. He came out like he was pampered. So for me, without any doubt, I would not believe the custodial, what's the head of the custodial, Comptroller General of the Custodial Center without video evidence. And I doubt that they have CCTVs within the prisons. Without proper video evidence, I won't believe.
Made me a bit suspicious then was when James Brown went to see him.
And
but he didn't see him. You know, and he stayed there. He was taking pictures with the prison.
He didn't want to see him.
He came to see Bobrisky, but he didn't see him. He didn't get to see him. So I wondered at the time,
what happened?
Why wasn't he allowed? Because you're allowed visitors in prison.
Yeah, but they're not friends.
But they're not friends. That one went to gloat.
That one went to...
So that's why this
what is worrying is the videos coming out. There's a new guy who posted videos yesterday, an audio saying he was chatting with him at the time, and he had pictures at the time, dated pictures and audios dated, you know, showing that he was chilling somewhere better. And he was so boastful. I was like, oh my goodness.
All right, so I guess we can wrap up on this because pretty much it's really just...
We didn't talk...
What does the angle?
Yeah, the other angle, which is the Falanas involvement. A lot of people are looking at it as if the lawyer himself committed a crime. For me personally, I think he just provided services. Yeah. Everybody has the right to a lawyer, and your lawyer will provide you services. That's how I see it. And of course, dealing with lawyers, when you make some allegations, they are, you know, they would respond immediately. So that's the only place I would say VDM should have put that into consideration. Knowing that these are the sort of people he will be dealing with.
Is there
so when...
Sorry to cut you off. Ma'am, is there a moral question to be answered where people say, okay, the kind of the person, in case it happened, because we are hoping it didn't happen, you know, is it possible, let me rephrase my question. Is it possible for any lawyer at that level be of an SAN, is it possible for a lawyer to say, okay, let me find you a presidential pardon for spraying? I mean, because if I was an SAN, would I be willing to say, okay, YK, you've been sentenced 6 months for spraying? Would I go and look for presidential pardon? Is that something? I'm just asking. Is that something worthy of a presidential pardon? Because there are people in prisons that need presidential pardons. That they real presidential pardons. I'm just thinking. I'm not questioning about the SAN in question. I'm just saying, talking about it generally. Is that something worthy? Is there a moral question to say, okay, no, I won't go and be looking for presidential pardon for that. Please serve your sentence, or okay, let me see what other...
Okay, so from what I understood, it's not that he did not serve his sentence. He just does not want the ex-convict on his head. And from what I understood, it's not that there were other options. Like, that's the only way you may be able to get the ex-convict taken away from your name.
That's actually...
So that was the only thing. And talking about moral... question. For me, as the lawyer, I would look at other cases where people who have done the same thing have sort of gotten off scot-free, or they paid a fine, or the community service. For spraying of money, I think it was a bit too much, what the sentence that was given to him. I believe it was too much. I believe that he would have gotten community service, any other thing, because it was a first-time offender. That was the first time that you had caught him. And not so long after, especially that not so long after, another big personality was seen that way, and he got off by paying a fine. So I can understand how a lawyer would say, okay, because I agree to this may have been too much of a sentence, let me see the only way that you can get a pardon for that. So, but for the money laundering, I don't think that was what was on the table.
Speak in defense of Femi Falana, you know, because I know him, and I do not think he would be involved in any...
Of course not. Oh my God. That is a person, a bad market person. You know, so I read the pre-action notice of files, you know, and I think that here, is somebody reaching out? So Femi Falana, yes, is an SCN. He doesn't believe or play in this, but his son is an artist and plays in this circle. So Bobrisky is just privileged to have access to the SCN through his son. And the son said in his reaction that he reached out. He reached out to him. I don't want to read the old notices. When somebody reached out to you, now pardon is the only thing that gets you off the list as an ex-convict. And you know, an ex-convict is limited in the kind of things they can pursue nationally, you know, as a deterrence in our system. And what he went there, just as Miriam said, even at the time when he was prosecuted and convicted, we sat on this table and I took the stand that no, Bobrisky was just, you know, picked. It's a crime everybody does. It's something that was minimal, but to place an ex-convict title on him after is something you will willingly pursue a pardon for. Now you will pursue it through a firm that you know can access and get it.
And that was the Falana.
Yes, and so the prestigious practice that he runs is one that you willingly go. It's just that this mouth again, you know, they shut up. You know, that's the only problem.
We have to go on a break right here because I have to get our callers.
They still call him ex-convict too.
No, he finished. They didn't get the pardon now.
They didn't get the pardon. No, so he didn't get that pardon.
So let me go on a short break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines for our viewers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.